welcome back to the continuation of our previous video. So now we're going to talk about Git-P4. We're going to talk about adding auto launch of SSH agent to make it easier to use Git bash. We're going to learn how we can add a project from Git to a Perforce depot on our server. How we can take a Perforce depot and add it to a GitHub repo. How we can keep those two projects synced. Okay. So first off, let's start with the SSH agent. Okay, so here's our server. First of all, you gotta download Git in order to get Git bash. So download Git bash, and then once you have downloaded Git, you type Git bash and you open Git bash, and there you get your GitHub. Your Git bash. And then we're gonna follow these steps from GitHub themselves in order to add a SSH agent to our computer and to our account, so we don't really have to always type in our password when we're trying to do things from our command line. So okay, open Git bash, copy. I will put these links in the description. Copy this command and type in your email, of course, and then paste it. Then you will see this. Just press enter. Here you can just press enter. You don't need a passphrase. And then you you copy and paste this command. Pasting in Git bash is shift insert, I believe. Yeah. And after you've done that, you SSH add and you add that file. Next, you go to adding the new SSH agent, and then you follow these things too. So clip this command, and then go to your settings, SSH and GPG keys, click new SSH key, add SSH key, and then paste that in, confirm, put in your password, and now it's the fun stuff. We can auto launch a SSH agent on Git for Windows every time we open Git bash. So then we don't have to type in our SSH key phrase anymore, or we don't have to log in anymore when we're pushing or fetching and stuff like that. So go to your file explorer, go to usually it's in program files, Git, and then you type in dot and then bash rc. You should see this file. Now open that file, and then before you do that, copy this, then open the file. Don't have that one, and then scroll all the way down to bottom and then add this. I've already done it, so that's why you see it here, and then save it and close it. Now you should see, it might be that you can't save it. If that's the case, try to open it through Git bash, and then I think you can write in bash and then C and this, and vi for vim, and then the file name, and you will open vim, and then you just press A, and then you can start editing in vim. After you have edited and pasted this thing in, you then press escape and then colon, and then WQ and enter, and then you have written and quitted the vim and things are saved. But most likely you can edit the file, but not that. Okay. Now that that is done, that was not really needed for Git-P4, but I think it's kind of nice to have. So try to type in Git-P4, see what happens. This is what I get. It says valid commands and usage and try and stuff like that, but most likely it will say fatal git-p4 appears to be a git command, but we were not able to execute it. Maybe git-p4 is broken. This is completely false. So what you need to do for git-p4 to work is you need to download Python. When you download Python, be sure to, there's going to be a setting where it says, do you want us to set the path variable, the environment variables in path? Click yes on that. I can probably show you here. I've already installed it, but okay. Next. Okay, that's not that one. Okay. Yeah, but somewhere along here, it will say at the bottom, it will say, do you want us to add the path variables? Just do, yes, yeah, see here, add Python environment variables. This is important that you have, but I don't think when you do it, I don't think it will say it like this in this list, but it will say it down here somewhere. And then just be sure to have that one because you really need a, just to have the default settings. And then after you've downloaded by Python, I will of course give a link in the description to Python. You will then go back to git bash, type in git config double whatever these are called, edit, and then space, and then double global. And this will open, or if you don't have a profile, it will instantiate a profile, but this will open a profile in Vim. So now if you go to the description, you would see the alias thing. This is what you need to add, this thing in below. So what you do is you most likely will be all here, and you just press A. Now you're able to edit Vim. Edit in Vim, and then go back down here, and the paste might not work. Sometimes it's broken, so just type it out yourself, and then after you finish typing it out, the whole thing, then press escape, and then colon, and then WQ. This stands for write and quit. So then you save the files and you're done. It might be that your git-p4 is somewhere else. You can double check that because you need to have it needs to be in the right place, or you need to find git-p4. So basically program files, go to git and then search git-p4, and then you see here, for me it's program files git ming w 64 libexec git-core. That is the alias I made. But if it's something else for you, then have that as the alias, have that as the path. This is very important. Now that you've done these things, you can type in git, you type git p4, and you will see the same thing as I'm seeing. So in order to access our Perforce server and do things with it, we need to set some variables. So I know we did some of these in the previous video, but we're just gonna do it again for those of you that already set up Perforce and just want to learn how to use git-p4. And then here you set p4 set, p4 port, and then your server IP. So copy that, and then shift insert. Okay, it didn't work. P4 set p4 port equals, and then I guess just paste p4. And then colon 1666. Enter, and then you have to do the p4 set p4 user, then equals my username. Mine was test I, and then p4 set p4 password, and then I think mine here was test. So now try to do p4 login. enter the password. Then for me it was test, and then user test I is logged in. Alright, so here we have a GitHub repository. I'm going to show you how you can get these files onto your Perforce server, and then also how you can keep your GitHub and Perforce synced, and then also how you can later on work from Perforce and then push your changes back onto GitHub for the professors to see what you have done. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna go to our folder, file explorer, and then I just made a test folder here. Just call it whatever, and then I'll just git bash into here, and then you have to, of course, I'm just gonna do this just in case I've been logged out. Okay. So first of all, we need to clone this repository to our machine. So git clone, and then shift insert. So this will now create the Git repository in our folder. As you see, same files. And yeah, this is the name of the repository. Now that we have done that, we will start by making a depot, so the Perforce repository, by going to P4 admin, then going file, new, depot, and here you have to be sure that you name it the same as your GitHub repo. So my git repo name. There, and then make it just a local depot, that's fine. Now that we have our depot, we're gonna create a workspace for this depot. So basically what a workspace is it's where you specify a local place on your machine where you want to store your files. It's basically, if you think of a depot as the repository on the server, you can think of the workspace as the local repository, basically. So it's kind of the same as we did here with the cloning in the GitHub. We have the repository online and we clone it, and now we have it here. And just imagine this thing is a workspace. Yeah, so I'm just gonna delete this workspace just to start at the same place as you. I'm gonna give it a better name as well. So go to Visual Client, and then go to Workspace, and then New Workspace. And here what I like to do is give it a decent name. So I'll just say Isaac Workspace, so that you know it's a workspace. And this is will be the place where you work in Perforce. So when you're doing later on, when I'm gonna show you how you submit files and how you add files in Perforce, we're gonna be using this workspace for that. It's kind of a weird term. Just think of it as the local place on your machine where you have all your files. Okay, so I'll create a folder, and I like to call it just the same name. Isaac Workspace. Like that. That's a good practice generally. And then you see this workspace mapping. It might be either start here or start here. What you have to do is you have to just include the depot you want to be mapped, and then you can clear the other one, or you can exclude it, but clear is generally good, and it just removes the entry. And then it's important here that this usually could cause you problems where it says can't open, or client is already in view or something. Just remove that, and then it should work. If you find it that this doesn't work, then keep it as it is default. But generally, like yeah, this is what's worked for me all the time, and generally what I have to do every time I make a new workspace. So then, okay. Now we have our workspace. We should then have to go connection, environment settings, and just check that the P4 client is your workspace, and then just use current connection for environment settings, and then press OK. So now that is good. Now, before we actually try to sync these two repositories together, it's to add a file from our Perforce workspace onto the Perforce depot. So we have to submit a file. So basically, just go in here and then add and then test. And now you have to refresh. You will see this file. Then mark it for add, and here it should work. If it doesn't work here, then it means you need to redo your map to workspace view. See, now it added this one for me. That's why it gave me that error. It's kind of annoying. Sometimes it might do that. But you shouldn't worry too much about it. It doesn't really matter at all. Let's test. So now we have this file in here. And we can then, what we're going to do is we're going to clone this Perforce depot onto our Git repository. And it sounds kind of weird, but that's how you do it. So be sure that you've done all this though. We need the workspace because the workspace is the one that's gonna be submitting files from GitHub to Perforce. And then we also need the file in the depot in order to be able to sync the two repositories. And also, yeah, be sure that you have the same name as the depot. Like as shown here. Same my git repo name and then my git repo name. It's important that they're the same. And as here, I need to change directory to my git repo. I don't really need to, but I'll just do it. And you can see that we are at the master branch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna git p4 clone and then specify the depot path. So my git repo name and then at all, and then and then specify the where I have my GitHub repository locally on my machine. So then it's gonna be my new test, and my git repo name. All right, I just enter, and okay, so you might get some errors, but that's fine. So to show that it works, we can go over to new test, my git repo name, and we can see that we okay, we don't have it yet for some reason. Okay, let's try to do git p4 rebase. See, now we got the file here. So what a git-p4 rebase does is basically does a git p4 sync and then it does a rebase on top of that afterwards. So what you should see in is depot paths, and then you see my git repo name. If you don't see this, if you see some other kind of error like yeah, I don't remember what it was, but then it means that you didn't do the cloning thing correctly, and you should redo the steps. So do the p4 login, do the git clone sh, and then create a depot with the same name as the git repo name, create a workspace, and then add a file to the Perforce server, and then set the connection, set the environment variables for the connection by going connection and then environment settings, okay. And then do the git p4 clone. Okay, so now we have gotten our file onto our GitHub poster here, and this file is currently not in the online repository. So we want to assume that we have made a big change, and this test file is like really important. We wanted to send it over to GitHub. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do git, or maybe first off I will show you how to get files onto this server, because as you see here we only have the test file. So then we just do git-p4 submit, and this will only work if you've done the previous step correctly. So git-p4 submit, and you should get this. Just press enter and colon and then right click, and then it says okay, yeah, same here. You can go read up on why this happens, but there's probably a reason for it. Unable to swap file. Okay, it's like some app data. There's probably a fix to this, but during my testing it didn't really matter. Usually I will only get it like one time though, so this is annoying. Okay, there we go. So now we have all the files in here in our in our Perforce depot, sorry. Then we can go to, yeah, what I mean, it should be, it also like, I think it syncs everything, so you also locally would get maybe the things. I don't know why you have them here, but usually if you don't have the files locally, what you would do is refresh and then get latest, and then you would get all the files in your Perforce workspace. Now we're gonna push these files onto GitHub. So what we're gonna do is git push, and this is you will probably get an error here, and I'll show you a second. See, so you will see error failed to push some refs to GitHub. Updates were rejected because the tip of the current branch is behind. That was like a recent update. Usually you solve this by doing a git pull and following a git push, and you should probably have some sort of branch and everything to sort of set it up safely, so you can learn more and read more about this yourself, so that you in case this fails or there's some sort of conflict or whatever, that you don't do this with your main branches or my master branches. So for me, you will see this, and once you try git pull, you will actually get an error saying something like you can't do this, and I looked it up, and it's basically just in the GitHub 2.9 or something, they removed something. So you have to copy this thing. I'll put it in the description, and then you just paste that. I've already done it, so it should be fine for me. So I can just do git pull, and then okay, no, it doesn't actually. Okay, that's fine. Then I can show you. So I'll copy this, and then shift insert, and then it will go here. It will ask you like you have to write a commit message for why this merge is necessary. Yeah, I don't care about that. And then you can do the git push. So just to show you, here's the files and git push, and if I refresh now, we should see the new file test. Yeah, so this is how you can first of all have a repository that is synced between Perforce and GitHub. Use git-p4 submit if you want to send files over to Perforce, and then if you're working in Perforce, as you should, because this like I think the reason why I'm showing this tutorial, I think it's better to work in Perforce. And then the reason why I wanted to show these commands is so that you can basically do a git-p4 rebase, and then do a git push, and then do git pull, and then git push, and then so that your professors can see what you've done on your project in GitHub, so it's way easier for them. Okay, that's it. Thank you.